Hello friends, Kelly DeHaan here. I'm so glad to be with you again today as we start our first in a series of videos about the audition, how to audition for musical theater. This is specifically for musical theater that we're talking about today. During my career, I have played for thousands and thousands and thousands of auditions and for hundreds of different shows. And I've met so many awesome people, and I have seen some things that work, and I've seen some things that don't. And so we're going to be talking about that over the next few videos, just from a music director's perspective, all right, and an actor's perspective. And but today we are going to talk about how to present your music to the accompanist properly. An accompanist can royally mess up your audition. And it's true. You're putting your life in our hands when you submit your music to us, and you're like, please bless that this girl or this guy can play this music and won't mess up my audition. Well, there are a couple things that you can do to make sure that that goes as smooth as possible. Now, of course, if I'm your accompanist, I'm gonna nail it. I'm gonna do it for you right. I'm gonna do it properly. And especially, have I ever messed them up? Oh, word. I have totally messed up some songs. I have made people do it again. Very rarely, but of course, when you're playing for hundreds of people in one audition, of course you make mistakes. But it's up to you to help us be better. And can the director and the choreographer and the producers and the stage manager, can they tell if it's the accompanist's fault? Of course they can. Of course they can. I got an email from one of you saying, why do you use live accompanists? Everyone else uses tracks. They let us sing with tracks. Well, if you're auditioning for community theater, that's great. A lot of them can't find good accompanists, and so they will let their actors use tracks. But tracks don't really show a music director what he or she needs to see. All right? Using a live accompanist, that synergy between musicians, your ability to lead the music and to be strong and flexible shows us a lot. In fact, I insist on playing all my own auditions as I'm the music director, because playing for you and playing along with you shows me a ton. All right? A good singer, an aggressive actor will lead the accompanist through the song, so there's no doubt what you intend to do. And those are the ones who get called back. So we're going to talk about how to prepare for that step. The step where you're giving your music to the accompanist and where they are playing for you, all right? So first things first, the music, your score, needs to be very, very, very clearly marked, all right? Start and stop. We want to know. Do you want us to play an intro? Do you want us to give you a starting pitch? Do you want us to just give you a chord? What are you looking for? Clearly written, all right? A lot of times, an actor will have a bracket, and then it will say intro. And that's great, because I know they're not gonna sing, they just want me to play, and then where they start to sing, it'll say singing. I know exactly what to do. All right, so making sure we know the starts and stops. 16 bars. What is it with you actors? 16 bars. You love to sing as much as you can at these auditions. We have hundreds of people to get through. And we can tell if we're gonna call you back. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we can tell if we're gonna call you back in about 3 seconds. Less. We know. We can tell by your whole demeanor. We can tell by the way you look and the way you sound immediately going out of the gate if we're gonna call you back. The rest is just for you, all right? To show that you're making choices and that you've prepared and that you have good range, right? But we know, and we know quick. You don't need more than 16 bars. That being said, we once had a little child come and sing auditioning for Christmas Carol at the Hale Center Theater, and she was singing Silent Night. And she had marked the end of her 16 bars. Sleep in heavenly. And she was done. She didn't finish. It was hilarious. She was so obedient. John Sweeney, the director, burst out laughing as soon as she left the room. You can finish the phrase, all right? So 16-ish bars. No one is counting. No one is counting, all right? But that being said, don't try to stretch it out. We don't need to hear all that, and we don't have time. All right? That's rude. You're not going to watch any more videos because you think I'm rude, but I'm just being honest. Okay. At the beginning of a song, there are several indicators that an accompanist really needs to see. First of all, it's the title of the song. So if you're doing part of the song that is later in the song or the big note at the end, awesome. But make sure that you write at the top of your music the name of the song and the name of the show that it's from. That's so important for us as accompanists. That if we know the show and we know the song, we can identify immediately the feel and the tempo and everything else we can get. Now, if we have questions, we'll ask you. But make sure that information is right there. We also need to know the key of the song, and very many times an actor will cut and paste the measures together so that there aren't page turns, and that is usually not a very good idea because you're usually cutting out information that you might not know that a piano player needs, but that we need. We need to know the clefs, treble and bass clef, because sometimes there'll be two treble clefs or whatever. We need to know the key signature. We need to know the tempo marking. Sometimes there will be an indicator of feel, like it will say a fast 2 or a bright 4 or in 1 or whatever. Those are things that we need to know. And if you're picking a part of the song that's later in the song, make sure you transfer that information over, all right? Or if you take it slower, then you can notate that as well. Anything that you handwrite at the beginning of the song is like gold to an accompanist. We want to make sure that we're doing it for you right. All right, so then we want to also make sure that if you have any pauses, breaks, or fermatas, a fermata is that symbol over a note that means that you're going to hold it for a while. If you have a note that you want to hold out, this glorious note, you need to indicate that. And then if I were you, I would highlight it or circle it or draw something that is clearly indicating that you want us to follow you if you're going to hold something out that is different than normal, okay? If there's a break, mark it clearly so we don't barrel on through, while you're having a moment. Okay, your music must be readable and it must be the full score. When you do a show, you are given a libretto, you're given your script, and the music that you're given as an actor only has the melody, right, or the vocal parts on it, but it doesn't have an accompaniment. You can't use that at an audition. And I've had hundreds of actors who have brought me those librettos, and they're like, play this. I'm like, okay, but you're only going to get the melody, and that's not really showing us anything. You need to find the fully realized score online or in a book. All right. It must be readable, right? If you're doing a copy of a copy of a copy, it's no good. It needs to be a nice, rich, dark copy of the music. Should I just bring the original book? No, don't. It's nice that you own it. That's so great. You're so honest. That's great. Star on your forehead. That's awesome. But I don't want to play out of your book. No one wants to play out of your book. Books close. Books don't lay flat. Don't bring us your book. All right? Take a moment and scan it with your phone clearly, and don't leave off the bottom lines. Right? I need every note that's on that page. I need so I can play with my left hand as well. All right? Every note has to be on that scan, and it needs to be clean and not blurry. Because we don't want to mess you up. You want a clean, beautiful copy. All right, music should lay flat. So what about my repertoire book? Don't do it. Don't bring your big, fat repertoire book from your college voice lessons or your high school musical theater class. That's a great book to have, and you should all have one. But you shouldn't, I don't want to play out of that massive book. No one's going to ask you for a contrasting piece. I've played thousands, probably 2,000 auditions for 2,000 or so people a year, and I've been doing this for 22 years. I've played for tens of thousands of people, and they've asked for a contrasting song maybe 5 times, right? Some theaters do it more. When I play at Tuacahn, they will often ask for a different piece, especially if they're considering you for a lead. Those are awesome auditions that they do more one-on-one. At the Hale Center Theater, we're seeing hundreds of people. We have one day to see all the people that are interested in the show that we cast locally, which we're very proud of. And we're not going to ask for a contrasting piece. If we like what we see, we're going to call you to a callback, which is great. But we don't need your big old book. So take your music. You can have it in plastic pages, that's great, or just loose, but put it in another binder, a thin, skinny binder that just has one song in it. If we want a contrasting piece, you can go in your bag and get your contrasting piece. We've done it a couple of times, but it doesn't usually happen. The music should be able to open so that the accompanist doesn't have any page turns. A page turn is going to make it so that they stop, or they have to just play with one hand for a moment, and it will make for mistakes, and that's no good. So a lot of, many musicians, if their song takes 3 pages, which 3 tops, right, for 16 bars, come on, who are you people? You can have it so that it's open, and then we fold out one more page that's been taped on the side, and there it is. It's open, and it's beautiful in a skinny little binder. And that's awesome. All right. So there we go. Now, if you have specific notes for your accompanist, you can go up to him or her and give him the notes, right? If an accompanist has a question, if they don't know your song, they're going to ask you a lot of questions. How do you like it? What is this? What show is it from? All that can be written down. If the tempo is, if you're picking a unique song that is tricky, well, shame on you. But kind of cool that you're finding something that no one else is doing, right? We'll talk about that later, but if you're picking something strange from a new show or a very random show, you're going to want to communicate with that accompanist. And you can always go up to him and talk to him before the song. It's standard procedure. If an actor is doing something that the accompanist or that everybody knows, you don't need to go up and chat with the accompanist. You can just take your spot on the X and we'll follow you, and you will lead us. But if it's crazy, come and talk to us, and just give us an idea of tempo. That's an art form all on its own, right? Don't just say it's about like this. This does nothing for us. Sing a few bars of it. Pardon me, miss, but I've never done this. I know exactly what you want now. If you're like nothing, right? Nothing. Just sing a little bit of it, or conduct a little bit as you sing, or whatever, right, to make it nice and clear. And then we'll be there for you. We will make you sound amazing, and you'll have a good audition. And you'll realize that singing for a live accompanist with a live accompanist is much, much better than those nasty karaoke tracks, all right? Or than recorded on an out-of-tune piano. All right? Live accompaniment. That's where it's at. You can do this.